Time now for sports on 104.7 The Cave. Here's Ned Reynolds.
Mike, the intern, Ned Reynolds, in the studio, halfway point of the week. You wouldn't have known this if you follow any sports news outlet for the past 72 hours, but the league business actually starts today, but based on the last 2 days of action, you wouldn't have really, does it really even matter?
Most unbelievable paradox in all the sports, legal tampering. Explain that. Anyway, it is what it is. The office opens at 3 o'clock this afternoon. That's the National Football League office in New York City, and that's when all the deals become official. However, many of these deals have already been consummated. All it involves is signing paper. The Chiefs have lost lineman Nick Allegretti. He's gone. D-back Justin Reed. He is going to go to the New Orleans Saints. He's from Louisiana, although he played at Stanford. DeAndre Hopkins, he's going to the Baltimore Ravens. Chris Conley is going to lead the team. Juju Smith-Schuster. But the Chiefs, the big deal is they did sign Chris Jones. And this is a reworked contract. Now, he's getting a lot of money, folks, an awful lot of money. But much of his contract has been reworked to where there is additional cap space, and that does help Kansas City. The Chiefs did add a reserve defensive back from the Chargers, kid named Christian Fulton. Don't know too much about him, but he is going to give it a shot with the Chiefs. Probably added depth to what they're going to do. And there are some free agents on the Chiefs who still have not signed anybody. Tershawn Wharton, for instance, Charles Omenihu, they are still there. Now, what does that mean? Well, I doubt very much unless the Chiefs offer them really low-paying contracts that those guys will be there, but who knows? Who knows what might happen? There's a lot of circumstances that still need to be resolved.
We'll see what happens. It's interesting to me that Justin Reed and then Tyrann Mathieu all seem to find themselves down in New Orleans after they come help us win championships. But either way, thank you for your service, gentlemen, and it's been nice. There have been some interesting moves, and like I said yesterday, I think it's the mentality that Brett Veach likes to have a full lineup, a set lineup before we go into the draft. You think they make any other big moves before that happens?
They will. I think they have to make some more deals somewhere along the line. Now, whether or not they're free agents or whether or not they go stay with the draft, whenever that's going to be in late April at Green Bay, and take the players from there, that remains to be seen. And a lot of it has to do with the budget. And the Chiefs' budget is really kind of flexible right now and not in the Chiefs' favor. They need to stay below that salary cap or right there bordering on it. And it's up to Mr. Veach and company to make sure that does happen. I do think that around the league there will be some other deals. And we talk a lot about Trey Smith. And Trey Smith did sign the franchise player type, but he is, and I don't mean to imply anything, but he's an unrestricted free agent, which means he can talk with other teams. However, by the same token, it is hugely unlikely that anybody can match what the Chiefs are going to pay him, $23,400,000 a year, which is what the franchise tag calls for. And I can't believe that's going to happen and that Mr. Smith would opt out of his circumstance. But anything's possible. It's the NFL, and it's strange.
It's interesting to say the least, but again, it is a business, and you see it happen, and you're going to see some even probably more crazy moves in the next week or so. We'll see what happens as we get closer and closer to the draft, which, by the way, is just about a month away.
Late April.
Yeah, so it's already starting to move in that direction, which I love. Let's talk about this star-crossed athlete. Your thoughts?
Is there anyone in the whole athletic world who is more star-crossed than Tiger Woods? Great athlete, very, very wealthy, among the wealthiest athletes in the world. But this guy, my gosh, if it hasn't car wreck, back surgery, leg surgery, knee surgery, now he's working out at his home and getting ready for the Masters, quite obviously. And he, quote, ramped up his workout, whatever that means, end quote. What it did mean was he ruptured his Achilles tendon. And now Tiger Woods underwent surgery yesterday morning for a rupture. Now, how significant that rupture is, no one seems to know. But with a complete tear, which is not really what it was, I suspect he's just partially torn it, I imagine. but it's going to keep him out for the balance of this season, and the guy turns 50 years old. So what are the chances of his ever coming back? Well, there's always a chance, and he's Tiger Woods, but this certainly is a major setback for him.
We're getting closer and closer to most high school championships as we close down the prep school basketball season. Some of the smaller schools have their championship games this weekend.
They actually start today.
Okay.
And Fair Grove will play today. The Fair Grove girls, will play Lone Jack a little bit later on this afternoon up in Columbia. That will be in Class 3. But, 1, 2, and 3 are all the next days leading right up until Saturday in the championship. They're not all on Saturday. Some of them are on Friday. But now the 4, 5, and 6 schools are into their district championships. And the district winners for the girls were all decided last night. Logan Rogersville got a 60-44 win over Aurora. Owensville upset Stratford by a score of 41-37. Marshfield defeated West Plains 64-56. And Kickapoo beats Nixa. It was Kickapoo 53, Nixa 44. So those teams, those winners, all advance now to the quarterfinals this weekend and then on to the 4, 5, and 6 state championships, which are coming up next week up in Columbia. 1, 2, and 3 this weekend. And hey, very quickly, the winter sports season's coming to an end.
It definitely is. Good luck to all you kids. Get that hardware. MSU Bears baseball team. Let's get some good news from those guys, right?
I wish we had some. They hit the ball, scored the runs, but did not hold off Oral Roberts yesterday. Beautiful day at Hammons Field. Wind is blowing out. The ball is flying all over the lot. But the Bears could not contain the Golden Eagles from Tulsa, and Oral Roberts wins by a score of 9-7. The Golden Eagles were trailing the Bears by a score of 6-2, but then Oral Roberts came up with a 6-run fourth inning, got ahead, and stayed ahead, and another loss for the Bears. The Bears are really simply off to a very slow start. They're a better team than this. They can hit the ball, but you've got to be able to play defense and pitching, of course, is part of defense. Got to get it done, and right now they are not doing so at a continual successful ratio.
No, they're not. Do we need to get a water test over there on campus and see what the hell's going on with those athletes right now? Royals Cardinals, we are almost to the end of the preseason for those teams.
Well, Major League season for all teams opens up on March the 27th. That's March the 27th of this month, folks. And we're closing in. It's only a couple of weeks away. Now, the first games are coming up in Tokyo, and they will be next week. And that's the Dodgers and the Cubs, and those games do count. They'll play 2 of them, the 18th and 19th in Tokyo. They do count. The reason those 2 teams are chosen to open up the season is the number of Asian players who are competing, including one Shohei Ohtani, and he is the Babe Ruth of the of the Japanese fans, and they will sell out the place. Anyway, Dodgers and Cubs, and they will play in Tokyo starting next week for 2 games, and then all of them come back here. As far as the Cardinals are concerned, they got thumped by the Miami Marlins 12-5. Eric Fetty gave up 6 runs, 7 hits, and 4 innings of pitching, and the Arizona Diamondbacks knocked off the Kansas City Royals 3-2. But folks, it's spring training. Anything can happen.
You just compare Shoji to Babe?
He's the Japanese baby.
I'd say he's more like the Japanese Ty Cobb.
No. Ty Cobb never pitched. And
that's
Shohei
true.
Ohtani.
Okay.
If Ty Cobb pitched, then he would have been probably the Ty Cobb. But Shohei Ohtani can hit the long ball too.
Yeah, so could Ty. But also, maybe they just never gave Ty Cobb the opportunity to pitch. Maybe he always wanted to, and they just never let him.
They let Babe Ruth pitch.
Yeah, well, that may have been one of those situations they had to. Either way, have a great day, and I will see you tomorrow.